Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am here to talk about Brad Katona versus Garrett Armfield. Garrett Armfield is 9-3 as a pro, 27 years old, and he's got 5.5 inches of reach over 32-year-old Katona, who is 13-2. Garrett Armfield, he's got 9 wins, 6 by TKO or knockout, 2 by submission, and just 1 decision. He got his best win against Toshiomi Kazama in his last UFC fight. TKO'd him in round 1. Looked really good there. But that's his best win, like I said. Not the best competition. He does have 5 of his 6 knockouts coming in round 1. The other one coming in round 2. Typically gets it done early, as will happen against shitty competition. And both of his subs are rear naked chokes. His 3 losses, he's got 2 by submission, 1 by decision, all to good fighters. He lost a decision earlier in his career to Ronnie Lawrence, who is a current UFC fighter, even though he's out with an infection and whatever. And Ronnie looked really good in that fight, mixed things up on the feet and on the ground, and outpointed him. And the other 2 losses come to David Onama in his most recent loss in the UFC. That was an arm triangle choke in round 2. And David Onama also beat him as an amateur by decision. And he lost to Mateo Alejandro Vogel, this guy who's a capable fighter outside the UFC. I think he made it to the Contender Series and lost. But definitely a capable fighter. Beat someone else on this card. I can't think of who. And he was able to rear naked choke Garrett Armfield in round 2. And that would have been his best win. He was halfway there. Garrett Armfield was beating him up, bloodied him up, and looked really good, but then just conceded a takedown. And Mateo jumped on his back, sunk in the hooks, and choked him pretty quickly. It was a pretty tough and quick turnaround. But yeah, tough loss for Garrett Armfield. He also had a fight that's a split decision. His 1 decision loss is a split decision against this guy, Mark Slider. It's bullshit. He dominated the fight. Thing shouldn't have been split. So really, any vulnerability or weakness he's shown has been in his 3 losses. And the one against David Onama, I believe that was on short notice. I'm very sure it was. And the fact that it was against David Onama in the current state he's in, it's a forgivable loss. But, you know, here he's got another tough matchup in Brad Katona. Brad Katona is a 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner. He won the Ultimate Fighter, 6-7 years ago, and just won it last year again. He has a record of 13-2 with only 4 finishes, 1 by knockout or TKO, 3 by submission, and of course 9 decision victories. The guy is a point fighter, and he's an excellent point fighter. Got a lot of good traits, and we saw that on full display in his Ultimate Finale win over Cody Gibson. It's one of his finer victories. It happened just a few months ago. And that was a very entertaining and very close fight. And he outlasted and outworked Cody Gibson down the stretch. I thought he had a rough first round and then kind of got the better of him as the fight went on. But it was a really gritty effort and definitely an effort worthy of the Ultimate Fighter, which Brad Katona is now. He does have some wins that go under the radar. He submitted Bryce Mitchell, but that's an exhibition because it was on the Ultimate Fighter. Got him out of there deep into the fight in round 3. He also technically beat Timur Valiev by decision, although that was pretty close to be honest. But Brad Katona has already beaten guys that are above Garrett Armfield's resume, so to speak. I know that didn't make a lot of sense, but I still said it. Brad Katona, he's got much better experience. And he's looked good against these better fighters. His only 2 losses come to Hunter Azure, former UFC fighter, and guy who was in the same tournament as Brad Katona this past season of the Ultimate Fighter. And Hunter Azure had a tough first round, but then started outpointing Brad, and Brad wasn't able to get him down and was playing catch-up with a Hunter down the stretch. And Merab Dvalishvili beat him by decision. Merab is already at that championship level, where that's a forgivable loss. But yeah, Brad Katona, he's not the most dominant force out there, which always allows his opponent into the fight, into the point battle, so to speak. But Brad Katona is an excellent point fighter, as Stevie the Cat will tell you. And that is my pick for this fight. Brad Katona winning by decision. Brad Brad Katona, if he is able to dominate on the ground, he does have a good ground game, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he submitted Garrett Armfield down the stretch. You know, he's done it to Bryce Mitchell and someone else. This guy in Brave, he got out of there. I believe that was also round three, a round three choke. But he should definitely win this fight in one way or another. Brad Katona is very durable. If he had any glaring vulnerabilities, I'd be more worried about him. But I think Garrett Armfield's best path to victory is a point battle, and he's going up against a much more seasoned and practiced point fighter. Brad Katona is the pick. Minus 180 is the bet. That's with no props available and whatever. And I'm happy with that. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.